Peggy 12.
Unfinished Swan is a really interesting game that doesn't have a lot of comparable experiences out there. Even from the very beginning, we didn't have to put in a lot of user interface elements or tutorials. Like, we were able to let people pretty much discover the game in the same way that as a player, you're discovering the world.
The story of The Unfinished Swan is a story about an orphaned boy, Monroe, who has lost his mother. And the last thing that she has left in the world is this painting of a swan that she never finished. And one night the swan gets up out of the painting and wanders in this fantastic world. And Monroe follows the swan and in an attempt to catch it, an attempt to really hold on to the last thing he has of his mother's. And then along the way, he learns more about the different worlds that he is wandering through, and at the end, hopefully, something about himself.
It's a first-person painting game, and in the beginning of the game, the player starts out in a completely white world, and they have to throw paintballs to figure out what's around them.
Our paint splatting, that's really the central piece of tech that we've spent the most time on trying to really polish and make look as realistic, but also as stylized as possible.
We got involved with Sony because they called us. We had shown the game in Tokyo at the Sense of Wonder Night in 2008, and they had seen, I think, a video of that online when the game was still a very early prototype.
Initially, I was sent a YouTube video. I think I found it or it was on a forum, and it was just it's chapter 1, which is the garden. And immediately I was like, this game is unbelievable. Like, we have to talk to Ian. We have to, figure out a way to get this game onto the PlayStation 3.
Giant Sparrow was created essentially to make this game. It's been an interesting challenge working with the team on a project that we didn't necessarily know what it was going to be in the beginning. So I think we all knew that it was going to be this, black and white world in the very beginning of the game, but where it was going to go from there was pretty open.
Being a small team, we work very closely together, and everybody has to wear a lot of different hats and have more different domain knowledge than you would in a larger team where you're more focused on just a very specific subset of things.
I think this game appeals to two very different sets of people. There's the hardcore gamer, and then there's the person who doesn't really like games. And oddly enough, I think the game appeals to both of those people for a lot of the same reasons.
I don't really know where video games are headed. All I know is that I hope that wherever they're headed, there's still places for games like The Unfinished Swan to exist, because I think they're fantastic and I think they grow the medium.